Happy Socialist Sunday, people. Welcome to the Sunday live stream on my left eye. I'm your host Lefty. Thanks for joining me tonight. Thanks for choosing to see your week out here on the channel, on the stream. We've got Morbius and Super Tiny in the chat already. Good evening to you both, and Baron von Cockschlap just making an entrance there. Thanks to Herbie Ranger and the Supersonics for playing me in. Sunday live streams resident background music group. Hope you've had a good week. Hope you've been enjoying the streams and the content that's been out through the week as well. As we also welcome Chris and the Doctor to the chat. There's a doctor in the house. Good to see you both. So I can see we're on 100% members in the chat. And as promised, part 3 of the members only series is out today, if you want to check that out. Thanks for the feedback there, Super. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Believe me, each of those videos could have been considerably longer. Quite trimmed down. But I just hope that I've managed to fit in all of the relevant bits, as well as bringing you an insider's point of view, as well as some exclusive stuff with it. So, just one of the great perks for being a member here on My Left Eye. Thanks for that feedback once again. More of that to come. Part 4 will be out next week, of course. And more new stuff to come on tonight's stream as well. Increasing the perks, cranking up the quality, all the more reasons to watch the streams and join with memberships. Let's give you good members a thank you whilst I'm on that topic. Yes, the latest, the second volume of The Brews at 10, the album. That's our weekly live stream, one of our weekly live stream interactive features. You're going to get an exclusive look at that on tonight's Sunday live stream. Hope you'll enjoy that. Got some other good news about memberships as well. So thanks to everybody on the list here. You can join all these great people this Socialist Sunday for just 99 British pence. Lots of perks. Early viewings. Check out the list by hitting the perks button below. Specs, good evening. We'll be taking a foray into Keith's Fondue Lounge, as is our customary Sunday duty now. I think I was only ever going to use that bit once or twice, but it proved quite popular, so yeah. And speaking of shout-outs to members, also a shout-out to the Agitator for Keith's Fondue Lounge and other clips that I've used through the duration of the channel. Shoutouts especially to people who've bought gifted memberships recently also. Coming on to that topic in just a moment. But let's bring you good people up in the chat first. Just make some adjustments to the screen. And we've got Jojo in the house, as well as JC, celebrating 9 months of membership. Thanks a lot for supporting the channel for 9 months. That's great stuff. And also a super sticker in there. Thank you very much for that. Thanks for that support. Solidarity this Socialist Sunday. Great to see you in the chat as always. So I hope you're both doing well there, Jojo, JC. You're on the old Apple tab, so you can't give memberships, but very nice of you to contribute via alternate means. That's a boss super sticker. Pun very clearly intended. So also people, yeah, I said I'd just quickly come back to gifted memberships. It looked like the old spanner in the works of gifted memberships not going through had reared its head once again. However, the membership total has gone up, so I'm not sure if what first appeared to be failed gifts having actually gone through, or if people have chosen to join, but either way, thank you very much. So now up to 97 out of 100. Fingers crossed, not wood. Please, for goodness sake, YouTube, sort this technical shit out. We could go over 100 members in this very stream, who knows. Hedy, lovely to see you. Baron van Kokschlap, thanks for the feedback. So all of yours got refunded. Thanks for that. Yeah, it's a process of elimination, really. We've ruled out the possibility of it being people having the settings to not receive gifted memberships. Various other things we've had to discount, so thanks a lot for that. There was a very strange one. Was it on the last live stream or the stream before? Long-term viewer and supporter Andy gifted 5, but only one of them went through. So it's so, you know, what's with that? Okay, on a amber tangent alert system warning because of that one, so move swiftly on. I think I've gotten all of the plugs out of the way. Well, apart from social media, give us a follow there. Blue Sky, which is the preferred one at the moment, and Mastodon, one of the lesser known but growing social medias. Also still available on Twitter for now, but you definitely won't find us on Truth Social. If I did have the time, out of sheer boredom and curiosity, I could set up a profile there just to see how long it would last before it got blocked or barred. Please keep your feedback coming in the chat about the gifted memberships, yeah. I'll keep my eye on that and make mental notes, but I won't discuss that any further on the channel. Of course, I want to crack on with things. Politics and society from a socialist point of view, from a left-wing perspective. My left eye sees all. See? The ocular puns just write themselves. Speaking of puns, it's been a bit dry on the comedy front from the usual sources that I use, so perhaps I should use that situation as an opportunity to plug volume 2 of The Brews at 10, the album, the official early first look that you're going to get hopefully every Sunday here on the channel. What do you think about that, people? You can have a say in where the chat goes, where the stream goes, I should say, at all times. Yeah, very grateful to have such a loyal and wonderful audience. I've also still got the Pat McFadden experience queued up. Thanks for your feedback about that new feature as well. Check out the previous couple of streams if you've not seen that one yet. I can't remember exactly where they are on the old timestamps, but do check out those and look out for the Pat McFadden experience. That's his interview with Wesley Streeting. That is to say, a parody of, should be very clear. I think South Park got the best ever disclaimer about impersonations at the start of their shows, so I can't use that one. So I might just remind you about the Pat McFadden experience later on. Where to go to first? I'll tell you what, we'll go for some fondue, and then we'll come out and maybe check out that exclusive. Of course, I've got to tell you what's coming up on the stream, which I always do in the Fondue Lounge. Hope you're hungry, people. Let's crash this scene. Evening, Keith. Don't mind us, it's just some actual socialists. Nobody move. This is a socialist raid. Mandy, you're under arrest for crimes against socialism. We do not have to tell Margaret Hodge to stay where she is. She's already too pissed to stand up. You've already eaten, so yeah. No neoliberal fondue for you. I can't say I care for it myself. We just came here to cause a fuss, really. So what's coming up? Yeah, Keith and the neoliberal brigade. Well, have they had some sort of epiphany, as I mentioned in the title of tonight's live stream? All things having failed, where the steel plant is concerned, under private hands, they've had to resort to the truth that only nationalisation could potentially save it on an industrial level. So there was an emergency session yesterday, yes, a Saturday, in the House of Commons, which was the first time such a thing has happened since the time of the Falklands War, way back in the 80s. So what would that have been, like 45 years ago? And they decided, well, things are fairly inconclusive at the moment, actually. Jonathan Reynolds, the business secretary, has been at the helm of this. You've probably seen him quite a lot recently. With this plant losing so much money, and deals to overtake it haven't fallen through. The Chinese owners, on their side of the bargain, have asked for a great deal of money, some hundreds of millions of pounds, which has been turned down because, well, if it was seen that the British government was giving lots of money to China, then how would that look? Because China bad. So that was off the table. This is from, you know, the global neoliberal perspective. Whilst we're surrounded by their goods, we're drowning in their wares and exports. For some reason, officially, nationally, we still have the gall to side with Trump and like, oh, we're not giving them any money. So could it be nationalised, and what form is the steel plant going to take? Because it's currently a blast furnace plant, but will it be converted into one of these arc reactors which use recycled steel? Diving into that story and the latest about that in the episode. I do find that whole thing overall very face-palmy. I've only seen some of the bits of the actual session in the House of Commons and whatnot. It went to the Lords and then back to the Commons as it does. That's the way it works. But I've seen a few bits and pieces, including Kemi Badenoch making a right idiot out of herself, Kel Surprise, again, during that debate with Jonathan Reynolds. I might touch on that as we go through the story. But oh no, they had to say the nationalisation word. Heaven forfend. What would Thatcher say? Keith? She'd be very disappointed. She didn't raise Tony Blair to raise you with these kind of standards, did she? But no, they have been doing it very resentfully and sheepishly, which is embarrassing. I mentioned Kemi Badenoch's bit at the dispatch box. She was knocking the unions and whatnot pretty embarrassingly as well. There's a ghost. Oh no. The Fondue Lounge is haunted. What's this? Oh no. It's back again. Jesus Christ. They've morphed together to make some sort of Starmer Thatcher super ghost. Well, who are you going to call? Well, I'm going to ring up, what's that guy? Sorry, his name's escaped me. He does the I Know What I Saw thing on the BBC, and there's a radio bit for it as well. Yeah, we'll have to ring that fella. Did you see that? I've got 19 witnesses here. I'm pretty sure we all just saw a ghost of Thatcher. Yes, Davinia. We need to get onto the Ghostbusters. The Ghostbusters. Star Margaret Thatcher. Hev, that's a nice one. Good to see you in the chat as well. I'm going to have to pay the roaming charges, aren't I? They're in New York, the Ghostbusters. How long is it going to take them to get here? And then people are going to say, oh, yeah, look at the environmental protester, and he rang the Ghostbusters to come on a plane. I don't know geographically where the Fondue Lounge is, to be perfectly honest, either. Anyway, I want to remind you all and give credit to the Agitator for providing this scene. Follow Agitator at Agitate for Change, that's the number 4, change, on Blue Sky and such. Top guy as well. And an activist to boot. So, also coming up in the show, speaking of activists and activism, there's been another raid of Youth Demand members. The Thought Crime Brigade have been out again. So I'll be taking a look at that in an excellent article from the Canary. Long-term viewers will know that, as well as taking action with JSO, I've recently taken action with Youth Demand myself. I've been arrested on action with Youth Demand, I should say. That's all I can say. I can't tell you for which action, because I don't know. This is a faceless channel. But there's that to come. Plus the latest in Gaza as well. Sorry about this. Someone's ringing me. Okay, we're back. Herbie. Let's bring it back in. That was Keith's Fondue Lounge there. Thanks for throwing up the Palestine flags as well. Sorry about that, just got a phone call during the stream. Didn't have my phone on mute. Lots of flags up there in the chat, awesome stuff. They do need as much solidarity as they can get at the moment, as I'll be going on to later on in the stream. It's not great news, people, I'm afraid to tell you. But first of all, let's try and keep our spirits high. Short comedic interlude. I've got the latest volume of the Bruise at 10 the album to exclusively reveal to you. So that's for our weekday streams where we take suggestions for hot, tasty beverage based puns in songs, song titles and artists as well. Thanks for all your contributions so far. I've included some of them in the featured selection of Volume 2. I might have to start doing it as 10 per volume instead of the 5 at the moment, because they've been coming in thick and fast and there's been some quality ones in there. So Volume 2 of the Bruise at 10, the album.
Do you like a hot tasty beverage with your music? Then my left eye has got a treat for your ears. The Brews at 10, the album, all your favourite beverage-based hits from the 1960s to now, all in one place.
Volume 2 is now available, featuring From Tea to Brew, The Beatles, Brews of the World, The Jam, Stand By Tea, Benny King, Spaceman, Babylon Brew, Times Like Teas, Brew Fighters, plus many more. Order now.
Okay, people. So that, yes, very highbrow humour there. As expected. Serious topics, perhaps sometimes not so serious puns. That's my left eye. We go through a whole range of emotions. The top 20. Well, we've got 10 examples so far that I've put out there. I've got a lot more than 10 examples. Some of you in particular have been on fire with this particular interactive feature. Keep them coming. Thanks for that one, Davinia. I won't get too distracted with that. That is more of a weekday thing, like I said, for the Brews at 10. I want to get into some articles now, people. You know, now that we've got some of the silly stuff out the way. I can do the serious stuff as well, people. Oh yes. Let's see what's happening. There's Jonathan Reynolds, Business Secretary, still refusing to say if the steel furnaces can keep running at the Chinese-owned plant. Because of a lack of raw material supplies. So the blast furnaces need the raw substances, the ore, whereas the arc furnaces only need recycled steel that's already been used of various qualities. So it could be left with no choice but to move over. Blast furnaces as a thing are somewhat outdated. You know, they're probably around or in the same category as coal furnaces, which we no longer use. Thank you very much. So one thing's almost for certain, it won't be carrying on that way. I heard one stat that the plant itself was losing something along the lines of £700,000 a day. Like I said, they did just ask the government to give it a bunch of money, hundreds of millions of pounds, 500 million to be exact. It was obviously rejected. The company demanded more than twice that, with few guarantees the blast furnaces would stay open. So, well, this is, you know, very definitive. This is very atypical where capitalism's concerned. So you've got this huge company, and as far as they're concerned, once you get to a certain level with capitalism, their belief is, their mindset is that it's a win-win. They can't possibly lose, they can't possibly take a loss. The line on the chart has to keep going up and up and up, and if not, just go to a government, cap in hand. Even though you're not turning a profit, you're turning massive losses of hundreds of thousands of pounds per day. Demand that they give you the money without any kind of assurance in return, and essentially just hold a bunch of people's jobs to ransom. So that's what they've essentially said, the owners of the plant, which is in Scunthorpe, by the way. And we've not had nationalised steel for some time in this country. This is what it's led to, and as such could be the only solution. Oh, heaven forfend. Which is why, when Jonathan Reynolds has suggested the idea of nationalisation, he's had to quickly put on the adage, oh, only temporarily, you know, otherwise, what would Maggie say? It's also been ruled out that it's not going to be sold to any other Chinese company, because obviously there's this underlying, well, it's not so underlying at the moment, it's clearing out in the open, but there are tones, you know, this xenophobia, as it were, against the Chinese, that they have to be seen as the big rivals economically. They're, you know, the enemy, as it were. And we're also deep into America's pocket where that was concerned. Yeah, this is one bizarre thing that I felt about this whole situation. Unfortunately, it's brought, well, my opinion, obviously I strongly back nationalisation of infrastructure, including things like steel production, utilities, the National Health Service, 100% nationalised, of course, among them. But then that brings me into agreement with Nigel Farage, which I really can't believe. This is a very rare occasion. I would likely say for different reasons. However, we find ourselves calling for nationalisation. And also the Greens as well. We don't often see reform and the Greens politically aligned either, but here we are. Their representative, the Greens, that is, Ellie Chownes, said steel was integral to the green industrial transformation, including making wind turbines, trains and tracks, and nationalisation will give the UK the control it needs to renew the industry. And that is true. Of course, I strongly favour tidal as well, which is different architecturally, different materials you're talking about, but it is pretty much potentially an almost limitless supply of energy. Anyone who lives close to the North Sea would be testament to that. That is, unless, you know, unless the tides stopped. But they don't. So that's summarily the latest. I suppose I'm not. I'll just have a quick re-scan here. I have heard the figure, but sorry, it's forgotten. I've forgotten it off the top of my head. How many people are currently working at the plants? Obviously, they've got their jobs hanging over their heads. They're not certain who they're going to be working for next week, or even if they're going to be working for anybody at all. That's not great. But to say that socialism only works as a temporary solution and then you have to go back to what they think is good old privatisation is lunacy. It's deluded nonsense. It obviously needs nationalising, but that wouldn't fit their neoliberal remit, would it? So they can't possibly do that, even though it would remedy the situation. There is one element to this argument that I have been in agreement with Reynolds with, because it's an easy win. There's no drawbacks whatsoever. So Reynolds has been able to point out where critics have asked how much this would cost the taxpayer. He's pointed out that the value of the company is zero, which it is. In fact, it's less than zero. It's currently running at a £700,000 a day loss. So it's at zero cost to the taxpayer. Ultimately, they've tried, they've failed, they have the debts, they can deal with them. At the end of the day, they've walked into the big business casino, and that's the way it's gone for whatever reason. You can argue about competition between prices, but really I think the factor of it being a blast furnace and that being outdated form of steel production comes into it massively as well, ultimately. So it's a win-win. And then, I mean, where's all the steel going to come from to build this bloody theme park, this universal theme park that's going to be built in the UK? Well, it's the first time that we've had such a thing. Things like this, but also, as Ellie from the Greens mentioned, the green infrastructure as well. And developing proper bloody railway systems. You know, for goodness sake, we're so many decades behind with that. You look at Europe, you look to the Orient, the train networks that they have in China, Japan. Look at Germany's rail, so on and so forth. You could name so many countries. It's got to come from somewhere. and I believe we currently import about 2/3 of our steel. Did someone say tariffs? No, we're not. We're not going in. We're not going down that road. What do you think about this story, people? Let me know in the chat. I think I'll leave that there for now. Beverly Hills Cop. Also, you want to do a excuse me. Right throat. Yeah, I'm just going to turn this fan off. Sorry, just cooling myself down a bit earlier. One moment, people. Just try the air out, which is why I found myself coughing a bit on some of the streams. Anyway, what was I going to say? Oh yeah, more. So you're looking for a film version of tea-based puns? Well, could potentially be an idea. Beverly Hills Cup. Well, I'll make a mental note of that. Thanks for the suggestion. So yeah, steel. It's a deal. It's a steal. Nationalise it. Nationalise it all. It's ours. It's not just for pricks in suits on boards. The Heat is On by Glengethy Fry. Yeah, classic tune. Papa's got a brand new tea bag. Is that James Brown? Okay, 1 second. I'll jot a couple of these down. I do need the lights on anyway because it's getting a bit dark now. Right. Very good, very good. Well, it's okay, Divinia, if it's actually got tea in it, even better. And we've got a few suggestions there. That I'm just jotting down. Well, abbreviated versions of. I'll be able to remember what I'm referring to. Okay. Beverly Hills Cop. Nina Sadie, welcome to the chat. Hope you're well. A happy Socialist Sunday. Pink Floyd saucer full of teapots. Okay, yeah, I'll get that one noted. My pal Foot. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us, and a happy Socialist Sunday to you. Just checking that the chat's running nice and smooth on the stream. It appears to be doing so. Right. We've been on for over 45 minutes already. That's flying by. 13th floor elevators. Oh, thanks a lot. Oh, I forgot to mention as well, people, please do, if you can, put your suggestions in the comments to the stream. That's also a good way of me being able to just quickly find them, but also helps to boost the stream on the algorithm as well, so another good reason. Keep them coming. If you can't post in the comments for whatever reason, I'll try and skim through watching them back, but I don't manage to catch them all. I don't have time to watch the streams back 100% or anything. Mostly just check out for sound levels and things like that. Is it your birthday? Do we have a... We've got a birthday. It's your birthday. My pal Foot. Very happy birthday to you. Thanks for celebrating with us here on the stream. Everybody, please wish my pal Foot a happy birthday. We won't ask how old. But many happy returns to you. I would get Herbie to play Happy Birthday to You. I believe it is a copyrighted song though. It's owned by a Chinese family. Also, I only employ Herbie Ranger and the Supersonics to just play this one song over and over again. In fact, as far as I know, it's the only song that they do know. Quite bizarre. Doc Davies passing the virtual cake around. Oh, that's got my appetite going. I've no cake, unfortunately, but might help myself to a biscuit after the stream. Okay, where we're going to go to next. Yes, we'll move on to this story, and I'll use that as an excuse to remind you to please check out that latest members only video on the stream. But where activism and action is concerned, Youth Demand, who are sort of an offset of Just Stop Oil, have found themselves subject to another raid. Just gonna get that bookmark up, bear with me 1 second. Article from the Canary here, shout out to the Canary. And you've seen in that members only series where I've pointed out certain elements of police harassment. Fortunately, I myself haven't been subjected to a raid, but harassment in other forms while out on action. You're going to see in some of the upcoming parts as well about how we were followed around London and on the underground and things like that. But this really is an infringement of privacy as well as rights to assemble. And it's just basically thought police. You know, what is this? Minority Report? Philip K. Dick? That's the author, by the way. I wasn't throwing shade at anybody. Sorry, that was a cheap shot. Just read through this article. So it's very concerning. Whatever you potentially might want to go and protest about this legislation, the latest draconian legislation could be used against any protesters. But this one specifically, where Youth Demand supporters gathered at Russell Square just yesterday to take part in an open swarming. You've seen some clips of swarming if you've watched those members only videos. I'll just briefly describe them. It's quite effective actually. You can do it even if you've only got a small number of people who are marching that day, and you sit in the road for around 6 or 7 minutes as the police follow the 5-step warning procedure, and then on the last warning you'll get up and leave the road. Perhaps then go and do the same thing on another road somewhere else while getting followed by the police and spooks and God knows what else. MI whoever. So that's what the swarms are, and of course Youth Demand call for the UK government to impose a total trade embargo on Israel and make the super rich and fossil fuel elites pay damages to communities and countries most harmed by fossil fuel burning. These will be small communities, mostly in the global south, who have done the least to contribute to climate change, but unfortunately and ironically will suffer some of the worst effects first. And that's going to happen quite a lot actually. One example here in the northern hemisphere that's really counterintuitive is Greenland, which has been in the news a lot recently, but I mentioned how because of climate change that would expose access to hidden natural resources that Trump wants to get his hands on, and other things. But the fact that Greenland is going to experience some of the fastest melting, despite the fact that obviously it hasn't contributed the square root of bugger all to climate change, with it being such a unpopulated and unindustrialised nation. But also these, just getting back to the southern hemisphere, these island states are going to disappear. We're not just talking about the detrimental effects it's going to have on major so-called developed countries here in the northern hemisphere. The actual obliteration of nations, small island states, group of island states in the southern hemisphere will be gone. The same way that Jutland is now gone. Obviously the UK used to be connected to the continent of Europe by a landmass, and then as sea levels rose, that area was slowly covered, but this time it's going to be man-made. It's going to be human-caused sea level rises that are going to do it. These are some of the pictures from the protest. Oh, look at that cheeky Labrador there, enjoying the protest. How can you not love a good Labrador? Sorry, I just missed out some of the story. The group left the road around 1:20 PM One supporter was arrested for a breach of Section 7 of the Public Order Act, having already left the road. I've seen that happen myself before, people being arrested on the Public Order Act. So, yeah, it's a dick move. A further group of around 26 disrupted Hyde Park Corner at around 1:55 PM for approximately 15 minutes, with supporters dispersing when requested by police. And then they went to Vauxhall Bridge North, crossing at 2:30 PM. So you'll always see, usually, multiple roads being targeted during swarms, and also the slow marches that JSO used to do. That's why there's a few different locations. But then the article says, shockingly, a further 7 supporters were arrested around 10 to 3 in the afternoon as the group left the road. As Youth Demand put on its Instagram, 3 of these were after the event. The cops arrested them for suspected conspiracy to cause a public nuisance. Now, this is very spurious language. Conspiracy to cause a public nuisance, that can be used against protest of any kind, certainly should be a concern for all of us. It's the same offence that police have used to arrest other Youth Demand supporters in recent weeks. So one of the co-founders at SAM has said the real public nuisance is Starmer, who's licensing arms sales to Israel to drop bombs on kids. They're also allowing fossil fuels, meaning that billions of people will be starved to death in the coming decades. And obviously I brought up the refugee crisis that will come with that as well on the channel a lot. Sam also says, this is the only way we can change this, is by being in civil resistance. We need everyone to sign up at youthdemand.org. That's the only way to stop mass genocide. That's Sam there. He's a great lad. I've been involved with him through JSO quite a lot as well. He was studying in Leeds when I first met him, and then actually was taking a gap year to take part in a lot of climate protests, one of which was at Leeds University itself. So it's just got a shot of the back of him here. I'm pretty sure I've used clips of Sam before on the channel, perhaps in the very early days, around this time last year. So do take a look back through the content if you want to see more about that. So solidarity, Sam. I've seen him being arrested quite a lot of times, to be honest. I know that he's completely sort of used to it by now, but in situations like this one, it's totally out of order. Obviously, I and people like Sam know that you're expected to get arrested at, say, a spraying action protest or a, gluing on roadblock, whatever it is. But these perfectly legally legitimate temporary swarms are now being seized upon, as well as, the thought police being out there. And just to point out, you hear a lot of people saying, oh, well, why can't you just write to your MP? Okay, Herbie, your break's over now. Just back to it, thank you. Obviously, as Youth Demand, I have to point out once again, we have tried marches, petitions and rallies for over a year and a half now. It's not worked. The government only cares about disruption. That's why we're shutting down London day after day. There's no time to lose. 2 million Palestinians are starving. They're being pushed into smaller and smaller death zones in Gaza. Business as usual enables this genocide, so we have a duty to shut it down. And just a reminder that I myself will be down in London as part of Just Stop Oil's last hurrah in 2 weekends' time. So I'll be bringing you footage and interviews from that. Youth Demand are already down there taking action, as you can see. And this is going to be quite sustained. There's a fair bit of cross-pollinisation there. As I said, Youth Demand are a sort of offshoot of JSO. So I dare say I could be bumping into Sam and a few other members. Watch this space, people. I'll always try and bring you some exclusive content from the front lines of non-violent direct action. Let me know your thoughts about that. Well, it looks like the Labrador's stolen the show for now. What a good doggo. Arrest the dog. They probably would arrest the fucking dog. Pig arrest dog. How's about that for a fucking headline? It doesn't quite beat unsecured penguin. Unsecured penguin causes helicopter crash in South Africa. Oh dear me. Yeah, just referring to a previous article that I went over on the channel. Previous headline. It's great to see dogs out on marches as well, when people bring the dogs. Yeah, action dogs, and a lot of the time, you know, they do have little modifications like mini placards on the collars and stuff like that, you know. And they love to join in. A good question, Baron von Kochschlap. Maybe that's why the Penguin Island got the tariff sanctions. The what was it? The something in McDonald Islands, Anderson and McDonald, or something like that. I've forgotten it off the top of my head, but yeah, that's the one where they put a tariff on them, even though it's not got any humans or businesses on it that don't export or import. Again, the square root of fuck all. But don't mention reality to Donald Trump. He's not a big follower of that, you know what I mean? Hope to see that Labrador potentially. Some other actions. Very loud. Motorcycle that just went past nearby. Sorry if I got picked up. And now we're going to take a look at what Youth Demand and other groups are protesting against on a weekly, sometimes daily basis. I've got two articles here. One's from yesterday. So despite international arrest warrants, international condemnation, international protest, and also criticism from within, with calls for Netanyahu to step down and facing corruption charges. Israel yesterday said that they still want to expand their so-called offensive. It's an occupation. Just if any BBC editors are maybe listening to this stream, it's an occupation. Maybe the auto correct made a little mistake there, but that's the word you should be using. So now again, it's not just about the hostages, is it? So they could get every hostage back tomorrow, and they'll say that they'll still occupy Gaza, to make sure that this doesn't happen again, and we're gonna have to try and wipe out Hamas. because that's all they'll ever say. So Israel Katz has said they'll soon vigorously expand their offensive. They've completed the takeover of a so-called security zone in the southern part of Gaza Strip. Doesn't look very secure to me, Katz. Separating the cities of Rafah and Khan Yunis. They want to completely own it. They want to change the names of the cities. They want to make it Israel. That's the Zionist mindset, the complete eradication of a population. It's maniacal. It's insane. But that's on top of the hundreds of thousands that have already been displaced since the 18th of March this year alone, and they've seized more areas of Gaza as they've been doing so. Again, they think that this is going to bring Hamas to the table. The same old bullshit, lies and excuses, of course. We'd be here all night if I went into every single one of those. So I'll just scroll down a bit too far there. But Hamas have responded by saying that the offensive not only kills defensive civilians, talking to the AFP, but also makes the fate of hostages uncertain. Of course, they've killed their own hostages in raids. We all know that. That's certainly a factor, I think, in that statement. Get back to the penguin in a moment, people. No point in reading out the same old crap from Israel spokes. I'm thinking as well of actually taking a section out from one of the live streams this week, the one about David fucking Mensa. Just so you've got a quick reference to that. I know from previous content that a lot of the viewers are certainly not fans of him, so if you want to remind yourself of how we dunked on him for quite a while, happy to put that one out there. We really need to dunk on this fella. He really is a piece of shit. So they can't help but blah 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 towards the end of the Beeb article, trying, we couldn't finish without mentioning the 7th of October, and then giving a false underestimate of the number of people who've been killed. That's sort of a contractual obligation at this point, I think. I'd just like to remind you all that Israel didn't start this in 1948. They certainly didn't start it with the Nakba. Oh no, this only started a couple of years ago. And in that case, how were the months of that year and the preceding year some of the deadliest on record in Gaza? That doesn't seem to add up, does it, people? Yes, you heard that correctly.
What?
I said 2 of the bloodiest years of the Israeli occupation of Gaza were in the year before and the year leading up to October. Release the sausages. But yeah, they've not wasted their time in increasing the bloodshed, unfortunately, and increasing this collective punishment. Also attacking illegitimate targets, as always, schools, hospitals. So I do have some particularly bad news where that's concerned. This came out earlier today. The last fully functioning hospital in Gaza City has been destroyed. I really can't believe that I'm reading something like this, that I'm saying something like this out loud. I'll see if this video will play smoothly. Apologies if there's any buffering, but I will be playing it without the sound on as well. That's part of the ruins. My goodness, so as you can see, total destruction of the facilities. Places like this are lost refuges for the citizens of Gaza. It's difficult to understate just how awful this is when you look at how aid and medicine continues to be blockaded. So let's see what's happening here. There were huge flames and smoke rising after 2 missiles hit the 2-story building. People, including some patients, were still in hospital beds. Nice. And again, they're trying, oh, it's okay because we told them to leave. And they've got 20 minutes to clear a hospital out. No. This is sick. It's sick. Yes, so the Director General of the World Health Organization has pointed out that hospitals are protected under international humanitarian law and that attacks on them have to stop. In his statement, the Hamas-run government media office condemned the attack. Said Israel was committing a horrific crime by targeting the Al-Hali Arab, which houses hundreds of patients and medical staff. Even David Lammy has been forced to condemn the attacks and said that they have to end. Although it's somewhat understated. Israel's attacks on medical facilities have comprehensively degraded access to healthcare. Comprehensively degraded access to healthcare. They've blown the bastard up, David. Yeah, that's somewhat comprehensively degrades access, doesn't it? Have you been hindered It's like it's just some sort of hindrance, you know. It's been blown to smithereens, David. Obviously for members of the Christian faith, today is Palm Sunday, and the Archbishop of York has thrown in his 2 cents and pointed out that it's appalling for that to happen today. And he says, I share in the grief of our Palestinian brothers and sisters in the Diocese of Jerusalem. I pray for the staff and patients of the hospital and for the family of the boy who tragically died during the evacuation. In October 2023, an explosion at the same hospital killed hundreds of people. And again, as we scroll down, just can't get to the right again. The last, it is exactly in verbatim. You see these 2 paragraphs here? That's the exact wording that was on the first article that I showed you, which came out yesterday. They've just cut and pasted that on because, like I said, it's more or less a contractual obligation at this point. Fucking hell, BBC, just report it the way it is, please. There's no for balance in this situation. It's, you know, there's no blurred lines about who's responsible, about who the biggest culprits are in this, who the real criminals are. Stop trying to give them fucking excuses because people like David Mensa are bad enough as it is. Just looking at what you're saying in the chat, yeah, they are war crimes, disgusting war crimes. There's a couple of you pointing out there. I'm appalled by that. I'm appalled. I'm also tremendously concerned. The most we can do in this country, obviously, is fight for our government to act. That's what Youth Demand are doing. Obviously their action is what led me onto that story. Because where the aid is concerned, there's this massive blockage. There's actually a backlog of aid. The world has generously responded and supported financially. We're talking about people like you and me, who've contributed to charities and other such things, but that just simply isn't getting through. So yeah, we don't want any part of this. We don't want our taxes contributing to this. This is the sort of thing that, as a nation, apparently, we used to stand up and fight against, not be allied with, and support militarily, financially, and also intelligence as well, which is a big factor. We may have faded as an empire, that is the British Empire, former British Empire. And during that time we did manage to get somewhat of a network, an international network of intelligence, which we've been sharing with Israel as well, so that's got to come to a complete stop. As far as I'm concerned, I'll just be right back with you in one sec, people, and then I'll move on to another story. Alright people, moving on now. Speaking of international arrest warrants, something that we hope will be enforced against Benjamin Netanyahu and former defence minister Yoav Gallant, hoping that they'll come through. A UK MP is actually had an arrest warrant issued. Sorry, I thought I already had this. The bookmark's just getting that queued up now. Where the fuck's it gone? Just go into my history. Quickest. I'll just quickly go over this one. So Bangladesh have issued an arrest warrant for British MP Tulip Siddiq. Let's see what's happening, people. Just turn Herbie down a little. There we go. So what's all this about? The country's Anti-Corruption Commission, the ACC, it says have been investigating allegations that Siddiq illegally received land as part of its wider probe of the regime of her aunt, who was deposed as Prime Minister in August. Well, how's about that? British MP. She was a Labour MP, but quit as Economic Secretary to the Treasury in January. She represents Hampstead and Highgate and says that the charges were politically motivated, but the niece of recently deposed Prime Minister of Bangladesh gets arrested because of a probe. Just one sec. So is it legit or is it politically motivated? Let's see what's happening. At the moment it does look like there could be trumped up charges. The claim is that the family embezzled up to 3.9 billion from infrastructure in Bangladesh. The investigation is based on a series of allegations made by Bobby Hajjaj, who's a political opponent of Sheikh Hasina. Court documents seen by the BBC show Hajjaj has accused Siddiq of helping to broker a deal with Russia in 2013 that overinflated the price of a new nuclear power plant in Bangladesh. So we're talking about insider trading and embezzlement, really. She says the allegations are completely false and have been dealt with in writing by Siddiq's lawyers. The ACC have not responded to her or put any allegations directly through her lawyers. She's never had a plot of land in Bangladesh and she's never influenced any allocation of plots of land to her family or anyone else, it says. And is that true, Odin? Oh, right. Sorry. I thought you were referring to this article. So that Siddiq was protesting for Bangladesh, for Palestine in Bangladesh, or a family were. But thanks for pointing that out, nonetheless. Always great to see huge marches like that, of course. back to the article though. At the moment, yeah, it just looks like an unfounded allegation. I mean, if that's correct, what it says there, that she's never owned any such plot of land, then there's no case to answer really. So is it an attack on her and her family to try and stop them from perhaps being re-elected? Who knows? As it points out, it's her auntie Sheikh Hasina who was recently deposed in August last year, so that's, well, not too long ago. Doesn't look like that's going to be enforced, or she's going to be extradited or anything like that. So she's now standing as an independent. I can't say I'm that familiar with her. My left eye is just going to take a look. Actually, let's check out her seat. Hampstead and Highgate. The Hampstead and Highgate. Let's see what happened in the GE. Don't know how much this could potentially affect her. Is she going to stay as an independent? Well, she quit as economic secretary. Not sure if that was a you better quit before we sack your job, or if that was down to moral reasons. Obviously, economically, Labour have been under the cosh quite a bit recently. Well, yeah, she's got a very large majority of 15,000 there, 48.3% vote share. So it'd be difficult to see that taking any kind of a hit. And then you've got the Greens in third there. We did see the Greens take that Tory Labour council. See, it's so easy to get confused. Recently, that's in David Lammy's stomping ground. I don't know, that particular resignation may have passed me by, but I'm not sure what it was all about. I'll leave that matter there for now, people. Share your thoughts in the chat and in the comments, of course. Make sure you hit the thumbs up button while you're here. That's particularly important. Keep those suggestions coming in for volume 3 of the Brews at 10 the album, which I'll be plugging again in just a moment. Please do that in the comments though, if you have access to the comments while you're watching. It's easier to find them as well. I dare say it might be more likely that they'd be used if they're in the comments. But I'll do my best to scroll through the chat on a replay. I'm also doing my best to note them down as we go as well. I'd need about 8 eyes, let alone 1 left eye, to keep up with everything. And now I'm just going to have a quick scan at the news page, just see if there's any breaking stuff. That is breaking news. No. From now on, I'm only featuring stories about criminal damage. No. Well, something slightly developing, just quickly worth a look at here in the UK. on a topic I've mentioned once or twice already. So there were calls for the army to get involved with this crisis in Birmingham, the bin workers' strike, rubbish piling up in the streets. So it appears that they've been called in. This story came out just 3 minutes ago, people. So this is fresh, this is the latest. Let's see what's happening. The strike's been going on since the 11th of March. Birmingham City Council have already appealed to neighbouring authorities to help. So, you know, lend us some of you. Just pay them, you know. It's a no-brainer. Just looking at where the army come into this now. So we'll see a small number of office-based planners providing logistical support for a short period, so we're not actually going to see infantry or troops down there collecting people's bins. It points out, so it's logistical experts. Well, you take the bin and you put it in the fucking tip. That's you know, you get a truck, you get some people to empty the bins into the truck, and then the truck goes to the tip. Maybe they couldn't work that out by themselves. I'm not sure how drafting the army in is going to change that situation. Last week, Deputy Prime Minister Angela Rayner urged striking bin workers to accept a new deal to end the dispute. She said a significantly improved offer had been made, and the council had moved significantly to meet the demands of the workers, so we can see an end to this dispute. Sharon Graham, head of Unite, said the deal represented a partial deal on pay protection for a few, and the striking bin workers were in the driving seat around what they wish to accept. So just a reminder, it's an estimated 17,000 tonnes of rubbish and growing. It's built up over the first few weeks of the strike. Well, we're now, you know, pretty much halfway through April, into the 5th week of this. I know that we do have a few viewers on the live streams from the West Midlands. Keep us posted on your opinions as well. I can also give a free plug to Kevin Logan, who's a fellow YouTuber from there, who's provided some particularly insightful what's the word I'm looking for? Commentary on the situation. Well, speaking of Angela Rayner, let's try and lift our spirits a little now. I'll give you a reminder of the Brews at 10, the album, in just a moment, but first of all, another reminder for anyone who's not seen this potentially new series coming out on the channel. This is a feature called the Pat McFadden Experience, and I do hope you'll enjoy it. It's, yeah, not the highest production values, but hope you'll get a laugh out of it.
And now on The Brews at 10, it's time for the Pat McFadden Experience. Please welcome the Right Honourable Chancellor of the Duchy of Lancaster and soul of the party, Pat McFadden.
This week's guest is Health Secretary Wes Streeting.
Hello there everyone, and welcome to the Pat McFadden Experience with me, Pat McFadden. If you like a fast-paced interview with heaps of enthusiasm, then you're in the right place. Sorry for shouting there, I got a wee bit overexcited. This week's guest is Health Secretary and MP for Ilford North, for now at least, Wes Streeting. Wes, welcome to the show. Hi Pat, thanks for having me on, it's great to be here. Now, there's been a bit of a stir recently with a poll that came out that shows you getting the shite kicked out of you by independent candidate Liam Mohammed. Is that something you're worried about? No, it's not something to worry about. I'm sure that when Labour deliver our plan for change, that I'll bounce back in the polls. Are you sure that the same 3 or 4 sentences that we use in every interview are going to be enough? Or could we be looking at losing our majority at the next general election? Yes, Pat, absolutely. The £22 billion black hole that Tories left us with is a perfect excuse that we'll use as a shield every time. Plus, I've done a deal with Lindsay Hoyle that every time the NHS gets mentioned in PMQs, that the camera does a little cutaway to me, so I think that will do the trick. So, you don't feel out of touch with the public at all? Or staff in the NHS? No, Pat, absolutely not. In fact, just the other day, I was talking to a nurse after I'd stolen her parking space outside the hospital for a photo op. She was pretty far away, but I think she said she'd voted for me twice because she was waving 2 fingers at me the whole time. Really nice lady. That's a great story, Wes. So, next I want to move on to your plans for... what's going on here, Pat? Oh, hi there, Angela. I was just interviewing Wesley here. You were supposed to be interviewing me. You promised me. What's all this about? No, I didn't promise you that. Yeah, you did. When we was in the bar at the House of Commons. No, you asked me and then you passed out before I could say no, and you'd had about 15 double vodka and lemonades. So what? I was enjoying my weekend, alright. It was 4:10 in the afternoon, on a Wednesday. I'd had a long day. You try sitting there for half an hour with Keir Starmer's arse in front of your face at PMQs and see how you like it. Sorry guys, are we still carrying on with the interview or... Shut up, Wesley. Shut up, Wesley.
Shut up, Wesley.
Pat McFadden Experience. Might be another guest on the next episode, whenever that might be. So yeah, hope you're enjoying these new features on the live streams. Some of them seem to be landing pretty nicely at the moment. The batshit crazy corner I've not done so much of lately. Didn't really land as well as I thought, but then again, these were exclusive to the live streams. These bits, I've not put them out there onto the wider, well, on a video, on a standalone video or anything. Not yet anyway. Yeah, so if you didn't join us at the start of the stream, also Volume 2, I have a little feature for the weekday streams. That's The Brews at 10, Volume 2 of The Brews at 10, the album, is now out, so just a reminder about that one.
like a hot tasty beverage with your music? Then my left eye has got a treat for your ears. The Brews at 10, the album, all your favourite beverage-based hits from the 1960s to now, all in one place.
Volume 2 is now available, featuring From Tea to Brew, The Beatles, Brews of the World, The Jam, Stand By Tea, Benny King, Spaceman, Babylon Brew, Times Like Teas, Brew Fighters, plus many more. Order now.
Yeah, so we've already had some suggestions on tonight's stream. Thanks a lot for those. No Baron von Cockschlap. It's not Phil doing the voice work. He's a mute, as I've pointed out before. That's yes, the producer, Phil. He's to blame for some of the things that go wrong. Definitely exists. Keep that music coming, Herbie. Yeah. Alright people, I think that just about brings us up to speed with the latest. Do stay put in your Solidarity seats this Socialist Sunday. I'm gonna check out who else is live. We've got Kev and No Justice again. That is to say, we're faced with a choice. We raided into Kev last time, so are we gonna switch back to No Justice? Let me know what you think in the chat. Sorry, I'm trying to talk while I'm pressing a lot of buttons at the same time. My brain's nearly exploded. So those are the choices. Yeah, I do know that generally Kev has been asking for more support lately. We did raid into him last time, so the suggestions are still flowing in nicely. Teas are good by the charm him. The char. Yeah, it doesn't have to strictly be teas or brew, it, you know, anything. Okay, I've selected No Justice, but I'm sure that a lot of us, or most of us, already follow Kev Logan as well. If not though, do check out both channels. That's No Justice at MTG, which we're about to raid into. And also Kevin Logan, at Kevin Logan. Okay, so that's all set. Yeah, I think we should get straight over there, so we won't be, we'll just be having one visit to Keith's Fondue Lounge this week. And of course, yes, as you point out, Baron, they will of course be streaming together, so you're not missing out on one or the other. It's just a matter of who gets the algorithm boost, basically. Yeah, speaking of which, before we go, make sure you've hit the thumbs up button here, give us a share across your social media. I'll be joining you over on No Justice for a little while in the chat. Make sure you hit thumbs up and stuff when we get over there. Check out that latest members only video if you've not done it already as well, so please do stick around and join me with Helena. But if not, if you're watching back on a replay or whatever, take care. My Left, I'll be seeing you soon. Solidarity. Free Palestine and power to the people.